Hey, welcome to the Madness Collective. I am Crescent Muhammad. My co-host is Antoine.
Hey,
There he is. See, nice glasses he has on.
in this dirty,
And
it my dirty ass bedroom in the back.
you are in a different locale. And I still got this plain backdrop. We're gonna get it together, I promise. Hey. So if you are tuning in for the first time, we do our best to recap today's headlines, really. Just the headlines, because it's always a lot of headlines. So also, yeah, sorry, we're supposed to have Ife back, but she gonna come back next week. We're still trying to work out some tech difficulties. So here we are tonight. Y'all remember when Wesley Snipes tried to not pay his taxes? Right. So Terrence Howard said, "Hold my baby wipes." Fallout from the Wendy Williams documentary. Jam Master Jay was killed October 30th, 2002. Two men were just found guilty of his murder. Terrence Bradley clearly has a vendetta against Nathan Wade and Fanni Willis. He called him arrogant as fuck. Okay. The conservative justices on the Supreme Court absolutely appear to be in cahoots with that evil ass clown Trump. Speaking of evil ass clowns, Mitch McConnell, who's also helping down from Republican leadership, goodbye. Speaking of destruction, Alabama scrambles to protect IVF, but that ish ain't happening on a federal level. And documentaries to check for, get this, Freaknik and Reading Rainbow. I know. But here's the thing, they both kicked off in 1983. Isn't that crazy, Antoine? I was like, oh my
God. Yeah. I didn't know Freaknik went back that far.
I don't think I did either. And I was like, wait, that's the same. So, okay. Do you want, comments. Hey, what's up, Karen? What's up, Sarah? What's up, Dion? Oh, love the militia. Y'all so awesome.
No, so Present, give me a second because I just got one of those messages that popped up as we do. Literally 30 seconds so I can plug in my Ethernet cable because apparently Wi-Fi is not giving right now.
Okay.
2 seconds, just ramble or something.
Oh, fun times. Got it. Awesome. So it's Friday night. Tony said tech issues got you waiting, sir. Whew, Jesus, this Wi-Fi life. Yeah, we actually never see Antoine's bedroom. Usually he has this like dope bookcase behind him. Y'all remember last week or no, this week, y'all were like, oh, look at the bookcase. Yes. So sorry, I'm also checking the chat. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, it's Friday night. I'm actually supposed to go out afterward. I'm not sure if I'm going to or not. I need to, but I don't really want to because I'm tired. So we'll see. I promise we're gonna get to the topics in a second. Antoine.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, good. My t-shirt. See.
Ooh.
Yes. Hey, Kristen. What's up, CJ? Hey, Ernest. Look at you in the chat. Karen said, youth was wasted on me. I missed all of Freaknik. I mean, by the time I would have been able to go, don't look like it was a good look. So
yeah, I told y'all when I went, I saw Tupac. We'll talk about it when we talk about the trailer. I went basically a year or two before it ended.
You also you wouldn't have been as much danger as I would have been in. So on the
God, no, but I went with Carla, Deidre, Margaret, and Trent. I went with 4 girls.
Well,
and we had to step in a couple times because there was a lot of liquor being consumed. People were getting freaked on car hoods. It was wild.
And it started out that way. 1983, that's not what was popping off. But anyway. So wait, okay, so do you want to do the audio? Do you want to do the clip?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this up and then I'm going to play audio for a second and I want y'all to tell me if y'all can hear it because if y'all can't hear it, we ain't even going to attempt it. So
come on, militia, get ready.
Yeah, so let me pull that up. Let me go to this tab and play something.
And then there was a person,
Okay, did y'all hear that?
It might take them.
I need them to chat to let us know if they heard that or not.
So I'll try and set it up while y'all let us know. So obviously we've been talking about the Reesa Teesa situation, and our last update about it was that her pathological liar of an ex-husband decided he wanted to enter the chat and he might press charges and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it back on you for a second, so while I look at something real quick, Chris.
Okay, cool. Also,
Dion said they heard it.
Awesome. So just also we'll set it up though. Charlemagne decided he wanted to comment on it, and he called the behavior big back behavior. He's like, it sounds like this situation sounds like big back behavior. And then Jess Hilarious has stuff to say. T.S. Medicine has stuff to say about what Jess and Charlemagne said. It's a mess, but Antoine and I both did a whole long thing about how fucked up it was him talking about big back behavior. So
Yeah, and what a lot of people have been doing, because and I get it to a certain extent. People people have been downplaying the impact of what he said. And for some people, they're like, oh, it's just jokes playing the dozens. But that one just, I don't know. That's not something you hear a lot. I think that's something that it's one of his personal tropes. And that makes it worse, because clearly I don't went around calling people that. No. I think the average person would have just said, oh, it's a big girl or something along those lines. But the big back is, I don't know, that slap different. It slaps different.
Because it's making it sound like, not making it, it sounds like you're clowning her because she's a plus size woman.
Yes.
And that she's desperate because she's a plus size woman. It wasn't like paying attention to the flags.
Right. And as we stated last week, the two of us and everybody in the chat and anybody new that's watching, all of us know pretty girls that have been shitted on by niggas. So acting like plus size women are the only ones susceptible to fuckboy activity is just crazy. It's just crazy. It's not true. It's not true.
All of the stories.
Okay, I'm gonna play this audio, y'all.
Okay.
And then there was a very famous personality that called me a big back, talking about my weight. And so it's things like that I'm like, Jesus, I can already admit I'm self-conscious, as a heavier woman. I feel like how I look should not dictate whether or not I deserve what I want. So that was disappointing, and it was hurtful, especially the one that was the more famous personality. Because again, I'm more than just my weight, and not to mention, it's hard. I will admit this, I appreciate when I've met both men and women who have said thank you. Because for me, it's like, okay, I know I'm getting attacked, but it did help somebody. When I hear someone that said, girl, I watched all 50 parts, I genuinely am humbled that someone took 500 minutes out of their life and watched the story that I went through. And my prayer is that, again, if there is a woman or man who's like, I want to be married, I want kids, I want this, and I need to have it right now, and something's wrong, but you're afraid to investigate because you're afraid that you might be wrong.
Or you might be right.
And it's like, I'm here to say, look, it costs nothing to verify. But if you don't verify, honey, it may cost you everything.
Okay. And there you have it.
She said a whole word. Okay, give us a sermon, girlfriend. So what was I going to say? And because the prompt was, what did Tamron ask her? What has been the response?
She said if she heard any negative responses, basically. And she there was more, because I didn't want to play the whole clip because I even played more than I was supposed to. But there was a previous portion of it where she basically said she was online and people were saying she doesn't look like what a VP would be interested in.
Thank you, that part.
It was harsh because look, I clowned her on the show, but I didn't clown her based on her looks. I clowned her for the choices she made, which I think is fair because she clowned herself for the poor choices she made.
And she knew that was coming. She said that.
Yeah.
I don't look great in this, but I want to tell this story.
Yeah, it's just certain things like because I'll give you an example. If she was on, y'all, I don't know why I always use wigs, but if she was on Tamron in a bad wig, I'd be like, okay, girl, I might clown a wig or a bad outfit, but you can quickly fix that, but it's not cool. And the thing is, I don't know if y'all saw the thumbnail. What I put on the thumbnail was,
can we take the image down, or is that gonna mess stuff up?
No, let me go.
Okay. I was like, we gotta stay here. It's fine.
What I find amazing is that another trope of his, I'm unlocking my better self. And this is when Crescent, now there was a point where he did change. that's when he started making the political rounds, and he wasn't quite as wild as he used to be. And so you saw him start to tone down.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it's like, because basically what I was trying to say was, you keep trying to unlock your better self, but you keep losing the fucking key, because every time you say something profound and I go, he's intelligent when he wants to be, then something like this big back comment happens, and I'm like, you're still the same person you were before you claimed you were unlocking your better self. So I'm interested in seeing, because he does respond to shit like this, I'm interested in seeing what his response is going to be. Is he going to make himself donkey of the day again and say, I was wrong? Is Jess going to take responsibility for the shit that she said? So it'll be interesting. But I just thought it was important to, in her own words, let people know that when you make statements like that, they can have a significant impact on a person's mental health.
Right. And again, as we noted on, I think it was Wednesday when we were talking about this, is in the comments on the YouTube video where they're talking about this in particular, there's a bunch of people with jokes and like, oh my God, y'all so sensitive. And what's the problem? She is a big back. Like, it was this comment after comment after comment, which was really disheartening. And then also on TikTok, cats got big back videos that they're posting. He jumped all that off. He kicked that off. Without him saying that, you wouldn't have it. I mean, maybe one or two persons maybe would have said something about her weight, but like not this en masse. So you did that, player. And you're right, Antoine. He usually does address these things. So I'm curious too to see how he might want to respond. Speaking of him talking about being his better self, and like you said, there was that shift, and him, to me, it's a little actually just more insidious, right? Like you are not quite as aggressively crazy as you are, right? Like with the commentary, but you're still saying and acting in a certain way. And we didn't talk about this, but Dr. Christina Greer, who is family, said something in reference to him and Killer Mike on Stephanie Rule, because Stephanie Rule brought them up. And she said, pause, it might behoove them to read a book or two and, like maybe talk to some political scientists. She wasn't wrong. Okay. So he decided to address that. And I'm not going to get too deep into it, but again, it was a disingenuous approach to it, because then he highlighted all the times where he has noted, Trump is bad. Trump is bad for this country. But at the same time, in the next breath, you say, but I get why people might stay home. Dude, your platform too big. You can't. So she called you out. You felt some kind of way about it, but she wasn't wrong. So just wanted to throw that out there. Oh, wait, Antoine, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I don't know if anybody else can. I agree, Sarah. I love that she didn't say their names. That's what Antoine and I were talking about ahead of time. Charmaine, he knows some stuff about politics, but given his platform, it's irresponsible.
Testing.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay. No delay or anything. You hear me fine?
No, your video's a little fuzzy, but
yeah, I'm plugged into a goddamn wall socket, so.
Calvin said time to boycott the Breakfast Club. I mean, I started boycotting them a while ago, so.
I don't watch them as much as I used to. I used to enjoy watching them, but I'm realizing now that and I used to make jokes, because I used to say, I was like, Angela Yee kind of dry, the other guy. You know what? I would love for that. I would love for that dryness to return.
Well, you know what? We now it's obvious that Angela really was a calming presence and a measure of intelligence in a different way. Because I agree. I do think Charlemagne has innate intelligence. There's some other things lacking, but I do think he's smart.
He's well read as well. That nigga read books. He's written books himself.
Well, DJ Envy has a book as well, but anyway, so
you say the bar is low on that because Envy got one too.
No shade. But, it's when Angela left, it was a clear something was missing. Something was very different. And now with Jess on there, she feeds into their worst attributes. Like, I'm just like, I don't know where this is about to go, but to your point, and everyone said, it'll be curious to see how this gets handled.
It felt very much like when on, and I said I normally try not to mention this, but it was similar. It was not unsimilar to when TGIF had Flame Monroe on. It was like the two existing people say questionable things, particularly, and the topic was different, but particularly about trans people. And then when they brought Flame Monroe on, I'm like, to me, when you have an ensemble, you want someone whose perspective is slightly different from each person so that you have a broader range of ideas and, commentary. You don't want people who are completely like-minded, particularly on controversial topics. That's why Funky Dineva was so good on the show, because he was completely different from those other two most of the time. Not completely, but enough to make it interesting. So, yeah, I can't wait to see the response. And lastly, I'm more interested in hearing what Jess Hilarious has to say. Charlemagne is built for this. He's kind of like a politician. He knows when he can't win, and he'll take his licks. And, he's Teflon in the way that Drake is. We done forgiven Drake, but, I think we rattled him off last week.
I'm not
Canadian.
I'm not. Yeah,
Puffy slapped him. The Secret Baby. It's dozens of shit. It's dozens of fucking things he's been forgiven for.
I'm done with Drake.
Normally in hip hop, if a nigga slaps you for stealing a song, you can't come back from that. And now, and look, now a questionable nigga slapped the shit out of you, which means potentially a homosexual slapped the shit out of you for stealing this song. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that.
He's a sexual deviant. I'm not even giving him gay, but I don't know what he is. He do a lot with a lot of different types of people, okay? So, allegedly.
Yeah, we gotta, we gotta make sure.
I love our banner. The scrolling banner is awesome. Oh my God. Wait,
it's so helpful. It's so fucking helpful.
I'm so happy you thought of that. Thank you.
To be fair, I'm not 100 because we're not the only ones that use this. I think the last YouTuber I saw that probably made me think of it was Make It Make Sense. Okay. Make It Make Sense has a really good channel that blew up over the past year. And my favorite out of everybody is probably Kempire. I don't know if anybody watches Kempire. He's a lovely person, and he's not shady like most of the other T channels. He comes from radio, so he know how to act. And why am I advertising other niggas' shows on ours? I don't know why.
Don't. Maybe later go check for them, but stay here for now, okay? By the way, Antoine, I don't know if you saw this or not, but when we were talking about who writes books, Tony said ghostwriters don't seem to be expensive. And
hopefully, wait. I don't know if anybody can look it up, but if DJ Envy's book is about real estate, do not buy it.
It is not. It's about his relationship. It's about his wife and how he cheated on her, but they turned it back around and they got 8,000 kids. Whatever. Okay.
That was rough. I remember the Erica Mena shit. He did her wrong. He did that woman so wrong. At any rate.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we wanted to bring you up to speed on that, but other madness topics. So one topic that I actually did not mention in my intro is one because it's true insanity. Here we go. So there's a Missouri GOP candidate for governor who claims he was only an honorary KKK member. Okay. So
we got photos, nigga.
Wait. So there's this rando racist dude whose name McConnell, whatever. He made it onto the ballot for the governor of Missouri in their primary, for the primary that's going to come up in August. So there's a 2022 article on the Anti-Defamation League's website that shows him next to a man in white robes, which is another image, as both men give what appear to be Nazi salutes. There you go, Nazi salutes in front of a burning cross sometime around 2019. So the publication reached out via text and asked rando racist McConnell if he was the man pictured in front of the burning cross in the image. And he says, and I quote, "It's an invisible empire. Yes, it's me." But he denied ever being in the KKK. Then there's this former Missouri rep who's Republican. He's the one who drew attention to all this because he's like, yo, we got this clear KKK member potentially on the ballot. What we gonna do about it, right? What I love is he's like, I know we bad, but we ain't that bad.
Yeah, because he's Republican. Yeah.
Right. He's like, come on now, you're a little too aggressive with this. So then Randall racist dude, McCallum, sent to the publication, I think a text that he sent to the Republican dude, but it's not clear. But he says this, Dogan, I would like to respectfully request that you cease and desist from making defamatory statements about me on the X platform, Twitter. Your statement about me being a cross-burning KKK member and white supremacist is false and damaging to my reputation. Then he directed him to a lawsuit that was filed. He filed against the ADL. Here's the kicker, okay? McCallum says in his own court filings that he is a pro-white man, horseman, politician, political prisoner activist who is dedicated to the traditional Christian values. He also says that he has honorary memberships in the Knights Party, Ku Klux Klan, and the League of the South. He also wrote, he did attend in 2019 a private religious Christian identity cross-lighting ceremony falsely described as a cross burning.
You better tell it. This white Christian nationalism, it overlaps with this type of shit. And his initial rebuke suspiciously sounded like Killer Mike when he was responding to, oh boy, was it MSNBC? The doctor? When the doctor said that he was a Trump surrogate.
Yes.
It sounded
he listed him in the same sentence as Trump surrogates, which he didn't appreciate.
Right. Look these photos. They just out here grand wizarding, nigga. All in 10 toes. Look, 10 toes and 5 fingers all the way in it. Why is it that Hitler has just been in the news cycle? This nigga been allegedly dead for I don't know how long. Yeah, we don't. Allegedly, Hitler is allegedly dead. We're not sure because he seems to be alive and well right now.
Wait, Antoine, you need to read Tony's comment. You see it?
His backpedaling and pussy popping explanation was hilarious.
Right. A badge of honor in today's GOP, except for this guy. This Missouri rep was like, please don't put that out there that aggressively, okay? Karen said, I'm torn. I'm glad they're completely showing their asses, but the shamelessness, exactly.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Ooh, good Lord.
And that's the thing. I agree, Kristen. I don't know if they keep saying this word defamation. I'm like, maybe you don't know what defamation actually means and how it works.
Yeah. Defamation involves misrepresenting someone with some sort of untruth. Nigga, you are a Klansman, honorary or official or temporary. You are a Klansman. Well, look, it's just shit cake. You don't get to say I was a former. If you had the hood on and it's a burning cross in a photo behind you, to all niggas, you will forever be a member of the Klan. You can never not be a member. You've been jumped in. Okay,
but right, like honorary, but you with them. You standing next to them with the whole like you right there, player. No hood, no coat. I don't care. You're with them. Okay. Somebody said, I wonder if they come up to him and be like, so you paper. So
it's gangster as fuck though. Oh, let's not forget too, because he's the underdog, he actually would be at the top of the ballot. That's how it works. When you're the person when you qualify the least, when you got the least votes or signatures to qualify to be on the ballot, they put you at the top. It's almost like they're giving you a handicap. So on the ballots, he would be the first name for the Republican candidate.
Okay, Missouri. Keep on Missouri. All right, moving on. So y'all boy, Empire's Terrence Howard. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so Wesley Snipes already tried this shit. And basically in this juncture, the IRS, Terrence Howard has entered the IRS group chat. So for more than a year, he told the IRS to kick rocks regarding about almost $600,000 in income taxes that he failed to pay between 2010 and 2019. Okay, so 9 years. So Justice Department sued him in 2022. His only response is a voicemail he allegedly left on the phone of the case's lead tax attorney in November. The transcript is him basically denying owing anything and threatening to shame her. Okay, but I'm gonna just go ahead and read the quote. I love how they're like, he allegedly left the voicemail. Well, he left the voicemail somewhere because y'all got the fucking transcript of it.
It's not alleged. Yeah, people don't know how to use defamation or allegedly.
I'm like,
what the fuck? It's
look,
real.
I'm about to read what he left on the voicemail. 400 years of forced labor and never receiving any compensation for it. Now you have the gall to try and prosecute and charge taxes to the descendants of a broken people that you are responsible for causing the breakage. Get this, he got cut off, but he called back to finish his statement. Mm-hmm. In truth, the entire United States should, by default, become the property of the descendants of slaves. I mean, I'm not mad at that, but since you do not have the ability or the courage to do it, let's try this in court. We're going to bring you down. So he actually never formally responded, though, to the lawsuit, right? He just left that voicemail. And after a court hearing last week, judge granted the government's request to enter like almost $1 million default judgment. So here's the thing. His tax issues are not new. He had liens on Philly properties that got settled. He got hit with some taxes from the state of California.
And when they try and serve him papers, nigga, they're like, the home is boarded up. Ain't nobody here. They went to one. His daughter was there. And she was like, he here, let me go get him. And then they heard him in the background. And she said, he's not going to come to the door. He didn't want to speak to you.
That was the wife.
Oh, that was the wife? Okay, I thought it was the daughter.
But they did go to the house and the daughter was there. And she's like, he not here. And I'm not telling him that y'all came.
Right, yeah, that's right.
Same ignorant shit. But also in 2019, the feds did open up a criminal investigation against him and his wife for tax evasion. So he just out in these streets saying, fuck y'all, fuck these taxes.
Well, I'm going to tell he's also in a new film that kind of falls under the horror genre.
Oh.
And I was listening to my favorite podcast, I think, is Press Play with Madeline Brand. They do movie reviews, I think, on Fridays. And everybody said it was it's on a new network that's I think that caters to horror. But at any rate, I'm laughing at this because I don't have an official diagnosis, but I'm pretty sure Terrence Howard is suffering from some form of mental illness and has been for several years. I am not joking.
No,
he was on a red carpet years ago, and someone went up to him to ask him a question, and he said he came up with his own version of science. It was called, I can't remember what he called it, but he's been lying about degrees that he doesn't have, talking about the foundation of reality and physics and all these other things. And just, as a person that studied, I have 3 semesters of physics and 2 semesters of calculus under my belt. I've heard this nigga speak, and it's all nonsense. It's all gobbledygook. So, yeah, I think something is off, and I hope he gets help soon because he really is. Because this right here, the tax thing, it is what it is. It was giving me a strong Lauryn Hill tea, and Lauren got caught up. Lauren was like, I paid my taxes up to that point, but I had to go underground. I was underground. If I paid my taxes, y'all would have been able to find me. I was like, girl. And, she's another one that seemed like it was something going on that needed to be treated. So, yeah, I hope Terrence gets the help that he needs. That's all I can say on it, because he's been really wilding out, going off the deep end.
True. Just, that's all. Yeah, facts. So moving on to the Wendy Williams documentary, fallout from it. Anyway, so this was originally supposed to be about her coming back with the podcast, but this is from one of the producers. It was tough every single day, and there were conversations that we had, all of us, throughout the documentary. There was no guarantee we would air this if we weren't happy with the content we ultimately got. And the editorial direction that we landed upon which was the family's point of view, illustrating what can happen when one of your family members is put into a guardianship outside of your control, which I do think is important to kind of examine. We just happen to be there every day seeing the reality situation. We just put the camera on and capture it. Granted, like I said, I think there's some valid points he's made, but at the same time, like, Then he says, honestly, it got to the point where we were more worried about what would happen to Wendy if we stopped filming than if we continued, because we ultimately knew that we would have the control, and we cannot just air this if we couldn't be moved into a positive, redeeming direction for her where we can help Wendy and hopefully other people. And that discovery came much later in the process, how universal the story is and how many thousands of families in America are going through the exact same thing, except they're not related to Wendy's, who has this massive platform. So, I mean, there's a couple more things, but like the Guardian is still unknown, although another article I read did mention who she is. Also, it says like the documentary team never communicated with that person, with the Guardian, but they only communicated with the manager, Shelby, who you said you have an image of that guy. You said he was a jeweler?
Will Selby is a jeweler. He was Wendy's jeweler. So let me tell you, okay, all these people are full of shit. So I'm 3.5 episodes in. I have about 20 minutes left to watch, and then I'm done watching it. There are scenes where they ask. There's a scene where Will Selby goes to her apartment, and Wendy is in bed, and they have a meeting with someone. The person is literally waiting downstairs, and she clearly is hungover. And he's like, will you be ready in an hour? She's like, several hours. He's like, no, they here already in an hour. So then it switches to almost like what they do on Real Housewives, where they go to the interview, to the testimonial. So they go to him, and the person behind the camera is asking him a question like, well, do you think she had, was she drunk, hungover? Has she been drinking? I don't know if she had been drinking. I don't know. It's a lot of I don't know. This woman should not even be left by herself.
That's what I was gathering.
And they're acting, all these people are walking around treating her like she's like lucid. From the first episode, she is not lucid. She clearly is mentally unstable. She's not making sense half the time. She doesn't know. At one point, she thought she was in Miami. They were in LA. And one thing I'll tell you, when people are going through dementia or Alzheimer's, what ends up happening is they start to focus on things that were a big part of their lives or things that were really important for them. And this laser focus on it. So Wendy's focus is celebrity and fame. So when people start talking to her, she'll say, my show will be back in September. Don't I look cute today? I'm wearing really expensive clothes. I'm famous. I'm on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, that's how she talks. And so there are parts where people will ask her questions and everything is filtered through the lens of celebrity. And they'll ask her a simple question. And she'll say, my name's Wendy Hunter, and my husband doesn't have any money, and Wells Fargo has my money, and I'm famous. And if they could do it to me, they could do it to you. And it's like, I asked you if you wanted to go to lunch.
Wow.
So it's heavy, and it's so, the fact that everybody's walking around at one point, I'll bring her photo up because fuck her too.
This is the publicist?
Yes. So this is the publicist.
That's the publicist.
Yeah. And
who
at some
also
point
is aggravated. She says she feels like it's exploiting Wendy, but it sounds like you ain't about shit either.
She was exploiting Wendy throughout this entire fucking
See.
I don't know, ride. We're gonna call it a ride.
Okay.
So they ask her. At one point, she essentially kidnaps Wendy because Wendy tells her that she wants to go to Los Angeles. She scoops up Wendy, takes her to Los Angeles, and then they call Will from Los Angeles, and Will is pissed. Will is like, how the fuck are you taking her to Los Angeles? You know she's not in the right mind to go to Los Angeles. I'm like, oh, all of a sudden we acting like we understand that she's mentally unstable.
And there's no family anywhere.
Nowhere. And so, look, here's what happened right before the manager takes her to Los Angeles. Wendy's niece, Alex, shows up. Now, Alex if you were a regular Wendy watcher, you know that Wendy would mention her niece from time to time because her niece is a news anchor and Wendy was her mentor. So the niece is like, the niece is no nonsense, like together. She's got it together. So they showed the niece in the car on her way to see Wendy. She hadn't seen Wendy for a year. I think the last time she saw Wendy was when she was in Miami with the family when she was doing well. So they're asking her questions. Are you excited to see Wendy? She's like, oh my God, I can't wait to see her. I haven't seen her in so long. She doesn't know what has transpired since the last time.
Oh my God, really?
So they're like, what do you think is going to happen? She's like, oh, she always gives me a big hug. And then I'll say, how you doing? And she'll say, I'm doing better than you. And then they'll eat. She'll tell her to get something out the refrigerator. And they have a kiki.
Yeah.
So she gets to Wendy's apartment. She walks in the room. Wendy barely acknowledges her. Wendy is in there with a bad wig. Her eyes are popping out. And she goes, I'm trying to get this TV to work. I can't figure out this remote. And the niece is like, okay. And she sits down. And she goes, it's happy to see you. And she's like, yeah, it's good to see you. Wish I could get this TV to work. And then eventually, she starts talking about her finances and how her publicist, Alex, knows finance. And then Alex comes in the room. And at that point, the niece has figured out what's going on. The niece gets up and walks out of the room.
Wait, you said Alex comes in the room, but Alex is a niece, right?
I'm sorry, the publicist, Sean. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Sean is the publicist.
Okay, so Sean comes in a room that Alex is already in with Wendy.
Yes. And Alex is like, this bitch don't know my aunt like I know her. I don't need this bitch in this motherfucking room. I'm not doing this. And these cameras shouldn't be here. This woman is not this ain't even the person I talked to a year ago. So she's telling Wendy, she's like, you're better than this. You have all these yes people around you telling you that you need to do things that are in their best interest and not yours. And you are bigger than this. But of course, that goes in one ear and out the other. Wendy gets defensive about it. It just, it's bad. It's bad. So,
because in my family, a family member would have been in that apartment and would not have left. Even if it's not like let's say I got a full-time job, which technically I do, but whatever. You know what I mean? Like somebody, we would have got somebody in the family like, no, you are going to be planted in this motherfucking home with her.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. And like the publicist takes her to, it's one scene where probably the second or third episode, Wendy wants to go get vapes. She chain smokes vapes.
I read about that part.
So they take her to the vape shop.
Why?
Anyway, right. She don't need to be smoking vapes because nicotine can cause anxiety if you chain smoke. So they go to the shop she always goes to. And Wendy's like, where are we? And they're like, the shop right there. And she's like, we're supposed to be going to the Wendy show where Sherry's filming. And the driver goes, we go in there after we go get your vape that you asked for.
Antoine.
Okay, whatever. So Sean, the publicist, goes in. She smokes the blues, the B-L-U, the vape. She comes back and Wendy's like, what the fuck is this? Are you stupid? And the publicist is like, they told me they know who you are and this is what you smoke. Wendy sends her back in 3 times. Then they go to the Wendy Williams show, come back to the smoke shop, and Wendy goes, I thought we were going to the Wendy Williams show. And the driver's like, we were there 3 minutes ago.
No, none of this is happening. We're not leaving the house. You can cuss me out all you want. You're not leaving the fucking house. It's clear there's something wrong. Even if I don't know exactly what the fuck it is.
And Will keeps gassing her up. Oh, the show is coming back. The podcast. Anybody with half a brain knows that this woman is incapable of that.
Wait. And he's gassing her up on camera. Like the cameras are rolling and he's saying all this. He's an idiot.
Yeah. And then when the publicist takes her to LA, get this shit. There's a meeting scheduled for Wendy to speak with NBC Universal. And clearly NBC Universal does not know the state that this woman is in.
Right.
So the publicist is like, we're going to have lunch and then we're going to go talk to NBC Universal. They go to lunch and the publicist allows Wendy to order martinis. And so while Wendy's drinking a martini, Will calls. And Will's like, hey, and Wendy's like, I don't want to talk to you. And he's like, I can't talk to you. I'm just calling to see how you doing. And then they go to Will and Will goes, she don't want to talk to me because she's inebriated. That publicist let her drink. And that's why she don't want to talk to me, because she knows I know when she's drunk. They do the meeting with NBC Universal. Wendy keeps saying, they're going to say, yes, I'm going to show them my feet, and they're going to see my wig, and then I'm going to get my show back.
Antoine.
And the NBC Universal declined to comment, obviously, because they saw she was mentally unstable.
Yeah. So okay, well, and then CJ said, not the part, you just mentioned that, the drinks at lunch, but publicist said that Wendy was begging her to leave because she didn't have any food in the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the things. The publicist had ulterior motives, because when they were in LA, the publicist is driving and Wendy's like, I'm firing Will. I want you to be my publicist. And the publicist goes, I mean, I do a lot of like managerial stuff anyway. And yeah, it's terrible. In the end, though, I will say this. Will and the publicist should never, they shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a person that has compromised faculties. But she does eventually go to Miami. Will is there. He sits with her. Her son and her nephew are like 40 minutes late, but the son is late because he's in school. Something happened at school. And so they sit down, and right before they showed this, they showed footage of Wendy when she was previously in Miami with the family. And they interviewed Kevin Jr. And my God, they hadn't shown this piece of footage before. That nigga had her together. She was cooking. He said she had gained 20 pounds. And when you see her talk on camera, it's the old Wendy. Wow. So when she sits down, when they sit down,
wow,
and they start talking to her, you see the nephew looks like he's ready to punch somebody.
I mean,
and Kevin Jr. is like, Wendy's not making sense. She's telling them her show is coming back, and she's disoriented, and it just was sad to watch.
This is really, tragic. So right now, currently, she is in a facility and the only person who had direct contact with her all the time is the guardian, which is not a family member. That's like present day, right, where she is.
Yeah, I believe so. But no, in the news right now, there's a situation with the guardian. They're saying the guardian and Will have been embezzling her money. There's an accusation. So something is about to happen.
But remember, the family said they haven't seen her.
Yeah,
right? Like that they can't visit because they don't know where she is, that they can't see her. So
she can get a hold of them, but they're not allowed to get a hold of her.
I can't. This is really sad.
Yeah, it was really sad. None of this should have been filmed. The fact that they're trying to say, well, it's a light at the end of the tunnel. No, they kept showing her feet with the lymphedema, which she would have never allowed anyone to see when she had all her faculties. She takes her wig off multiple times. At one point, Black China shows up, and Black China is talking to her, and she's not making any sense.
Somebody was talking to me about this documentary, and they were like, yeah, something Black China. I was like, I don't know anything about Black China being anywhere in it, so I didn't realize that she was a part of it. Because I can't remember who I was talking to. I was like, are we talking about the same thing?
Because they use her in the trailer.
Oh, I didn't even see that part. So
she's the only outsider that got to see her for the most part until you see her with her family in the last episode. Hopefully anyone whoever is in charge of this guardianship, if they are allowed to watch this documentary, she will immediately have their guardianship transferred to a family member. Anybody who watches this, because Will has a relationship with the guardian. And that makes no sense. The guardian is allowing a fucking jeweler to manage this woman's day-to-day life when she has what Kevin Jr. said on the last episode. They said, they kept asking these people, they kept asking Will and the publicist, yeah, we're seeing like some stuff here doesn't look right. Have you guys been in contact with her, with a medical professional to make sure she's okay? I haven't talked to any medical professional. And
Antoine,
so
I can't
when
take
they
it.
eventually talked to Kevin Jr., they said, "What's going on?" And he says, "Yeah, the doctor told me that." And this was the first time someone said it. The doctor told me that it's alcohol-induced dementia.
Oh, I did read
which
that quote.
means which means that if you take her away from alcohol, it may not cure her of the dementia, but she will be in a different mental state.
Yeah.
She's
No,
in a version of she's in a psychosis.
again, it sounds like when she was with her family in Florida, she was thriving. She was a lot better, and now clearly she's not. So
Yeah, she
I
needs to
don't know.
be with them.
I really, really hope that they can get it together. I know people said that she, wrecked people's lives and karma, but we, good or bad, this woman is a part of our formative years, and just she's now at this point an older Black woman who is in a really bad situation. So
And she's a mom. She's a mom.
There's
She's a
lot of things.
sister.
She
She's
had
a
a trifling
daughter.
ass husband who played her and took her money and got another bitch pregnant and lived down the street. Like, it's a mess, right? Like, so
Yeah.
I just really hope that this turns out a little better. Okay. If I'm gonna go out, we need to actually be moving along.
Okay.
Try and go out. So I'm gonna try. Moving on. We don't have to spend too much time on this, but so Jam Master Jay was murdered in October 30th, 2002. And they just found guilty the guys who did it. So Carl Jordan Jr., who was his godson, and Ronald Washington, who's a friend he grew up with, childhood friend, they're facing at least 20 years. Death penalty is not being sought. So what happened was Jam Master Jay was like involved in some cocaine trafficking because by the mid 90s, Run DMC wasn't doing what they were doing in the 80s. So the money wasn't coming in, and he was taking care of a lot of people, which is what happens in our community. So he was trying to, keep his paper up. But I'm also like, he was a DJ. Anyway, sorry. So this was a coke deal that went bad. And basically, Jay had a connect in Baltimore who he was, about to get, I think it was 10 kilos from. It was like $100,000 deal. And the connect said he didn't want Washington to be a part of it. And so Jay told him, like, dude, I got to make this happen, but you can't be in the mix. These niggas decided to, like, take him out. They got mad.
Yeah.
Negroes. Jesus. So, there's a third defendant who will be tried separately. He was part of the plan in that he put the back door, he propped it open, this guy named Jay Bryant. So there was two key witnesses who did not, for all this time, were like, no, because one woman was held at gunpoint by Washington and the other person got shot in the fucking bullets that were flying around. And so both of them were there, but they were like, we were terrified for our lives. So they never came forward. But there's been a couple other things. They've been brought up on other charges. And so now, they were found guilty. The thing that kills me, Antoine, is, per usual, how we do, they get found guilty. And the parents, like Tory Lane's daddy, was screaming, my son is not guilty. Bitch, you raised a murderer. Sorry.
Yeah. Why did it take like 50, 11 years for all this to...
I know.
And it's funny because I knew... I believe the information about Jam Master Jay being involved with drug trafficking was already out there, so I knew that part. But I didn't know that his godson wasn't.
I didn't know it was people he knew. Jesus.
Well,
Lord.
Ironically, Run DMC and Jam Master Jay used to do. I think they used to do the Dare ads. Don't use drugs. The Jam Master Jay in the commercial with him. I just think.
Go ahead.
I think when you see people speak about him, he was, really well liked because he did help people out. But it's a slippery slope with that because, people decide, people make choices, they take chances. But I will say, no matter who you helped, I think they would have relinquished that help to have you still here. Yeah. So I don't feel like it's justified in saying, well, I got in the drug game because I needed to help a lot of people. That's not good enough of a reason.
I don't like Sarah. Sarah's like, don't do drugs, sell them. Sarah, not helping.
Not helping. Girl, I ain't finna. You better
not helping.
Sarah, don't be getting me in trouble. So yeah, I think to a lot of people that's a noble cause, and I'm like, no, we need niggas to be alive. If you alive, you could make legal money and help people out.
That's the other thing too. Well, making legal money is what I'm trying to get at is, in this era, he would have had opportunity for reality shows. Look, Run's House, like it's just, but he was like, how do I keep this paper coming? Because I am taking care of all these people. So, Yeah.
And I'm sure, and to be fair, everybody romanticizes these types of situations. I'm sure he was living in a nice house as well.
Oh yeah, of
So I'm
course.
sure he wasn't
Yeah.
just giving all his money away to niggas that he was helping out. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate. When somebody gets to the level of celebrity that he had achieved, obviously Run DMC went through a period where when the new niggas came out, they were considered corny or whatever. But again, if you stay alive and you keep your nose clean, it usually comes around because Run and DMC are doing okay right now.
Yeah,
so
that's what I mean. Yeah.
like you said. So yeah, it's unfortunate. He also was, I think, he also was a mentor to 50 Cent. 50 Cent talked to him, I think, the day before he was murdered.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
sad. Just want to shout out Teesa. She usually catches the show after we're not live. So
Hey.
hey, girl, hey.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, everybody, hit the like button. Don't forget.
And subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Yeah.
By the way, Bilal, we know the video is going in and out. I told him so. Bilal was like, video shady, but your audio is 100. So
Yeah.
But it's good right now. It's good right now. Okay, moving on. Speaking of treacherous ass motherfuckers that's supposed to be in your corner but are not. Friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Ones we can depend on. Can't depend on these niggas. Okay, so in Atlanta, right? We're still dealing with the stupid ass hearing. So, and actually, you know what? Just let's just what's the word? Let's just like get clear and just say what exactly is happening. Fucking Donald Trump is on trial for election interference, okay? But there is audio of him asking for just 11,000 more votes so he can win Georgia. There is audio of him, all right? So he and his associates are being charged with having unlawfully conspired to reverse the defeat in Georgia as part of a criminal enterprise. Trump is the one on trial and his like crew, okay? So be clear. But no, right now we're dealing with this hearing to see if Fanni should be disqualified. So one of the defenses, it's because the state defense, it gets a little confusing. All right, so I'm gonna say Trump's people. Trump's people are trying to say that Fanni should be disqualified because there's a conflict of interest and she financially benefited from having a relationship with somebody. All bullshit, all bullshit, all bullshit. So remember on Wednesday we talked about, right, like Terrence Bradley was called back and he said, when I said that I knew that the relationship had started before they said it did, I was just speculating. Bald head, fucking raisin ass looking nigga. So anyway, text reveal that 413 text messages, which reminds me, I need to delete mine. Just
a lot.
Just on GB. So Terrence Bradley looking like a raisin. And Ashley Merchant, who was one of Trump's attorney people. There's a bunch of them. Like, it's like 4 or 5 of them because they're representing different co-defendants in this RICO trial. Months of communications, right? So Bradley is calling Merchant his friend, offering advice. And again, to just level set is what I was trying to say. Terrence Bradley left the firm that he had with Nathan Wade in 2022 after allegations that Bradley has sexually assaulted an employee at the firm. Okay. Sounds like Nathan was like, get your punk ass up on out of here. Right. So Bradley's denied those allegations. Sure. Over months of different texting with Ashley, Bradley referred to Nathan and Fanni as arrogant as fuck. Okay. It's in a text. We got it. Also, sounds like, you know what, Antoine, it sounds like Ashley got herself a legion, okay? Like, that's what it's coming across to me with this exchange. So this is the exchange between Bradley and Ashley Merchant. I am nervous. Just a day after filing the motion. This is huge. He says, you are huge. You will be fine. You are one of the best lawyers I know. Go be great. Merchant also gave Bradley a copy of the filing and was like, hey, is this accurate? Anything else? He was like, looks good. And then she says, do you think it started before she hired him? And he was like, absolutely, lying ass, asshole. So then also he said, this is, to me, key. I mean, him calling him arrogant as fuck, but then also this, he says he didn't want to be directly connected to the allegations and expressed the desire to not be named as the initial source of the information.
You know they be saying they'll use you.
Okay, so
you were used.
Okay, Ashley, right? So then she says to him via text, "I protected you completely. Not that you need protection, but I kept you out of it. And so he says, I really appreciate you keeping me out of it. But so part of the reason why he had to end up coming and officially being in it is because their other witness, another motherfucking disgruntled former friend, former employee, the bitch with the glasses and whatever, her bad wig, right? Like whatever her name was, she too got a bad relationship with fucking Fanni. So she's not credible either. I gotta take a breath. So it just kills me because once again, you got white people and black people shit, black people using these white people, and it's just a whole mess. Oh, Antoine, you froze for 2 seconds. Okay, go ahead. You're back. So okay, I'm gonna stop there because today there was more, but today was like the final the closing arguments. But just on these text messages, Antoine, you're about to say something.
No, I don't know how. Look, I'm assuming these people have expensive ass law degrees. I'm a lay person. How the fuck is the foundation of your case? The two people that are the foundation of your case are disgruntled against the two people who you claim had a relationship. They're not reliable. You need to find, yeah, not credible. You need to find somebody. You know, it has to be somebody who has a good, honest relationship with them. Now that would be, incriminating. But yeah, I mean, look, the shit that's going on, the nature of the reason why these people are no longer in good standing with one another, they are serious reasons. Sexual misconduct. I forget the other woman was fired, right, for some shit she did.
Given the option of either getting fired or resigning, and she chose to resign so she would not get fired.
Yeah, so she lost her job. Like when you give somebody the option to leave or get fired, it's like something bad happened. Right. They not go like you. When you have a law firm with someone and you tell them you can no longer be part of the firm because the streets is saying you are somebody or you touch somebody, yeah, you can't use those people. They mad. They're upset.
This is again, white people not knowing black people, because Ashley should have had enough sense to understand he's no longer friends with Nathan for a couple different reasons, right? So his word is not valid, and he over here bigging your ass up, and you married. Because my initial impression was like, you trying to hit, right? Yeah. Like whatever.
She would look. Both of them would, to get what they wanted. They would have did what was necessary. They would have done what was necessary. So
there's just a certain amount of like tone in that. I was just like, I don't know about this. But then,
is there any explanation for why he did the 180 on the stand? No, because it doesn't serve. Is it because he finally realized he lied in the text messages? So we'll never know because it doesn't. Honestly, it goes. It's weird.
No. Remember, he was like, keep my name out of it. And she couldn't do that, right? So now he's on the stand, right?
Yeah.
Look, him lying in the via text, whatever. Him lying on the witness stand, that looks different. You know what I mean? That's perjury, my guy, right? Like that.
Well, see, since he's a lawyer, correct?
He's a lawyer as well.
So here's what's more likely. In my opinion, since you're not dealing with just a normal nigga like me that don't know shit about the court system, I know you ain't supposed to lie because I know Lil' Kim went to jail for not snitching. So it makes more sense to me, knowing that he understands the seriousness of perjury, that he was gassing her up in the text messages, and when he's on the stand, he's telling the truth. That makes the most sense.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and that's why he was like, oh, I was speculating, as opposed to, just saying, oh, I lied to you. Right. Like, which is why she's like, no, you said absolutely. He was like, yeah, whatever, girl. I was
like, bitch, that wasn't on the record. He's like, bitch, that wasn't on the record, and I was trying to get some pussy. You can't hold me accountable for that.
Okay, that wasn't in the motherfucking affidavit, bitch. That was just, Apple. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, Samsung, whatever y'all was doing. So what you said about these cats having expensive law degrees, Antoine, that don't matter. Expensive law degree, bullshit law degree. Look, I went to school, expensive ass school. And for the most part, most of the people there, intelligent for the the most part. But people get in all the time on a check, okay?
Yeah.
Or so and I just need people to understand is just because you have a law degree, look at them lawyers that some of the lawyers Trump got. Some of them are good, some of them not so much, right? So this whole circuit down here and these racist ass people talking all this shit about Fanni. Go ahead, sorry, Antoine.
I just feel like they are really, I used to mention Law and Order all the time on the show because I feel like Law and Order does a disservice because if I want to murder somebody, I know how to do it because of Law and Order SVU.
Oh my God.
But my God, they are misleading. These shows are so misleading because
oh my God, yeah.
From just a performance perspective, I would think that lawyers representing the former president of the United States and self-proclaimed, let me see, I don't even know the number to use for somebody that claims they worth $24 billion. But I would think just the performance alone just aesthetically was not pleasing. It looked like a comedy of errors, a fucking kangaroo court, whatever you want to call it. It looked like a circus. And I'm like, if I'm a billionaire and I used to be the president of the United States, my lawyers better be fly, they better be eloquent, they better get straight to the point. And that just is not what's been happening here. It's just like a bunch of people stumbling over one another.
You don't have any, your case is bullshit. The allegations you're pushing forward are meritless. There is no basis to them. So yeah, you up here pussy popping and just looking crazy on camera, right? So today, the judge heard the final arguments. Fanni did show up. Fanni pulled up in a fucking power ass red dress. She didn't say shit. She just sat down. I'm here, niggas.
Well, we don't need Fanni to say nothing else. Keep your mouth closed, Fanni.
No, it's okay. And she knows. She's like, I'm just here. I'm just here.
Fanni. Keep everything closed until Trump is. Keep your door closed. Keep your mouth closed. Keep everything closed until this finishes.
But I'm okay with her being present. She was like, I ain't scared. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm here, right? So defense called Willis and Wade. So Trump's lawyers called Willis and Wade liars, said that Wade tried to use the race card and the God card when she made a speech at this black church. So then the lawyers for Fanni will maintain that defense lawyers needed to prove an actual conflict of interest, which they have not the mere appearance of one, but you have to show an actual conflict of interest. That does not exist for her to be qualified. And also, this is where, and it's funny because I had already put these words in my head, but then thank God he said it, right? So let's play this out. So she hired Wade so that she could benefit financially from him getting a government check. Like she getting a check too. Y'all act like this bitch ain't got her own money. That's the other part that's killing me. But also, she asked 2 other people before she asked him to work on the case. So this was a whole lot of plotting.
Right.
A whole lot of plotting to do what? Get a trip to fucking Belize or wherever they fuck they went? This doesn't make any sense. He was like, this is ridiculous. This is absurd. Go ahead, Antoine.
It would have made more sense because, when they start examining somebody's finances, like if she was heavy in debt or something like that, it wouldn't have been a smoking gun, but it would have at least made some semblance of sense. But no, she doesn't need anybody to pay her way. She got it.
But again, y'all acting like there's millions of dollars that are at play here. It's nuts. It is so nuts. They took some trips together. There's no conflict of interest. And this was to embarrass this woman. That is all this was about, to derail yet another fucking trial, which we're going to get to. That's the next story. That's the next headline. Also taking us to the next headline. Fanni out here getting dragged by these racist ass people. Meanwhile, Clarence and Jenny Thomas just keep skedaddling along. So y'all want to be combing through motherfuckers like finances. You need to drag him off the Supreme Court. So moving on to that. Goddamn Supreme motherfucking Court. I cannot with them. And I don't even say not the entire Supreme Court because it's only some of them. It's the conservative ones. They're the problem. All right. My girl Ketanji, she ain't the problem. Sotomayor, not the problem. Kagan, not the problem. Okay. It's them other ones. Right. So as a reminder, in terms of what we're looking at right now, Trump is facing 4 charges in this particular case: conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Again, he's the one on trial. So the legal question, the court, so this is the immunity issue. The appeals court said, no, you are not immune. That period. Like, they had a whole 60-something page, and they're like, we went through every fucking analysis we could possibly do, 1800s this, whatever, Nixon that. You are not immune. These motherfucking Supreme Court. I cannot. So they took, I think it was 2 weeks, because they had a couple different things they could do. They'd be like, you know what, appellate court is right. We're good. Appellate court is right. We're good. We're done. No, they decided, oh yeah, we're going to hear this. For what? For what? So now what you're doing is delaying it, which is exactly what he wants. And right. Everybody is up in arms. The faith in the Supreme Court was already low. It's under the table at this point. It's real under the table.
I think something that has not been made clear, and even when I see things on the news, unless you specifically watch an explanation on MSNBC or CNN. So when they decided to accept it, that meant that any pending case gets put on hold.
Correct.
And that is the delay tactic that Trump was trying to use. I've not heard anybody explain it that way. It's like they gloss over it. So
right, unless you're watching MSNBC or
right,
or you're right. And that's a large part of the problem right now with the coverage, because not everybody is checking for MSNBC or CNN.
Right, exactly.
So you need to check for the Mass Collective, because we're going to help you out, okay? just putting it out there, right? So right now, the legal question is, the court will decide whether, and if so, to what extent does a former president enjoy presidential immunity from criminal prosecution for conduct alleged to involve official acts during his tenure in office?
Yeah, this is stupid.
I'm going to exhale. So this now is set for kickoff April 22nd. And here's the thing. Even if he loses, which he should, he really, really should. Even if he loses, the trial court cannot take place until well into the election season, which is what everybody's talking about, right? Raising questions whether it will take place at all before election day or not. So I will say this. A couple different commentators noted this. It is possible that this shit could be going on, the case in DC. So the Supreme Court oral arguments, all that will happen. They'll hand down a decision. I don't know what it's going to be, because I can't trust anybody to do the right thing at this juncture at all. None of these conservatives, we can't trust them to act right. And so if everything starts to then move forward in DC, this could be happening in September and October, which, to be honest with you, would not be a good look for him. So slightly bright side, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because that's the other part. Even if the Supreme Court makes a decision, that doesn't give, what's our guy's name that's running everything? That doesn't give Jack Smith enough time to actually charge him and convict him of all these things before the presidential election.
It's the judge Chutkan. So once the Supreme Court gets done fucking around with wherever they land, then she gets to reset when the trial is going to kick off, right? And I think there will be a jury. So then there's jury selection. I'm not sure about this one, but the process of getting into court takes a minute, as we now all know, right?
So there's no way this could be finished before.
I mean, it could. It could.
But they're highly unlikely, though.
It's a slim possibility, right? So at this juncture, what probably will happen is that the trial might start, but there might not be a resolution in the DC case with Chutkan. So
but does he but if the trial goes into the presidency, he can ignore it while he's the president, right?
Okay, so that's the whole thing. If the trial has started and there's not been a decision, a verdict handed down, and he wins, please don't let this happen, but if he wins, yeah, he can. It's gone. It's done.
Now, is there an argument that since all of this is federal, so when he becomes president, then the other question is, will he be able to pardon himself bore he leaves office?
Can you say if? if he becomes president, please, Antoine, please. If.
So if he becomes president, there's an argument that it'll be just moot at that point, because if he becomes president, he would be able to potentially pardon himself before he leaves.
That's if he's found guilty, he could pardon himself. But if he's not even found guilty yet, if the verdict has not been handed down yet, he can just make the whole thing go away because it's federal. He can just be like, we're done here, right? Like new special counsel.
Because he'd be in charge of everything at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the issue. That's the issue with the federal cases and the one in Miami with the classified documents. But that's a different thing than what's happening in New York with Fam Al Bragg and Stormy Daniels. Now that trial is actually about to kick off soon. And I do think there's jail time because Michael Cohen went to jail for that one. Michael Cohen was found guilty and went to jail for that issue. So, and people aren't paying as close attention to it because it's not the one that's sort of like at the heart of the issue of like our elections and stuff, right? So, I mean, look, that's still moving forward. We ain't got no salacious, crazy shit to pop off there and derail that. So that was going forward. But that's the other thing with the Georgia thing. It's a state issue. He can't pardon himself for state crime. Right. So it's Jesus, Lord help me. So there's a couple different things that people have been saying. Clarence Thomas should definitely be recusing himself because your wife Jenny was all up in the mix with text messages and all this shit about January 6th. And even if he doesn't, I need to see an effort to get him to do that. I think I did see a couple, I think maybe senators were like saying he needs to recuse himself. Because again, the way this all works, we don't have hard and fast rules on like things that we can do to keep the fucking Supreme Court in line, because you're not supposed to have these shady ass, corrupt ass motherfuckers sitting on here just doing whatever they want to do. Like without
everybody to me is being just way too nonchalant about, you know what I mean? Well, and I guess it's because of what you said. This isn't something we typically, especially the average Joe and Joanne.
Because they're not in it. Like, right. Like I'm literally like neck deep in all the crazy, because trust me when I tell you, everybody on MSNBC has freaked the fuck out, right? Like all these political pundits I follow on Twitter, like commentators, everybody is like, the fuck just happened.
But lay people don't follow that. So
no, yeah.
And this is we're in a new era because of the fact that the Supreme Court justice shit, because of Mitch McConnell and Obama and Merrick Garland, it was at the forefront of the news cycle. So the average person may know a little bit about it, knows a little bit more about Supreme Court justices and presidents picking them and them being nominated than, 10, 15 years ago. Most people would be like, I don't know what that process is. But still, most people don't know anything about any of this shit.
What's even scarier, just as an aside to that, what people don't know, they think because Biden was in office when Roe was overturned, that this is actually Biden's fault. That's the scary part.
I've heard that before.
So again, communication, messaging, whatever. And I don't know, like we trying to do our part. Okay. I know we don't get a lot of views all the time, but God damn it, please somebody send this to somebody else who's not paying attention. So another thing that could possibly happen, I doubt it, but I would hope so, because Dems need to get as gangster as possible right now. And some of them are. Some of the senators, some of the representatives are going hard in the paint. But Jack Smith could charge the rest of them conspirators. Right now he only charged Trump because he was trying to like make this case get done quickly. But hey, Jenny Thomas, there's other, I think, sitting congressmen and senators right now who are involved. Marjorie Taylor Greene's bitch ass, you know what I mean? Like, I would go ahead and slap her ass with the fucking lawsuit. Like, what's up? Why not? Why not? Yeah. So also the court needs to be expanded. I'm gonna just say that.
Oh God, there's gonna be shit blowing up if that happens. Oh, they're gonna be so mad if that happens.
Yeah. So Sarah said they're called the Extreme Court. That's one. Yeah, no, right. The 5 conservative crazy people, like I can't. Yes, I did share a meme today that says, I should have sent it to you, but there's 3 Trump properties and then a White House, and the caption is, which one of Trump's properties are going to be sold?
Speaking of this part, I just want, it's funny when things enter the news cycle and people do what they do, it kind of, it's almost like a lot of times it just kind of disappears from the national, I don't know, memory or whatever, a collective memory of America. But I want someone to force Mitch McConnell to sit down and explain why Merrick Garland was inappropriate. As I don't understand why we can't hold people to task for that shit. Like, why was it not okay for the nigga, but then for the other person it was okay?
We can move to McConnell's next. The lineup is, it's in lineup because of how everything's unfolding. But I want to highlight Bilal because this is right. We need to vote him out. Fuck the courts. That is actually a big message that has been circulating. MSNBC, I don't watch CNN like that, but sure, right? If you care about democracy, hey, Eric Holder, he said, "We are the cavalry. It's us. It is the American populace. Like, we have got to get out and vote." Okay, so Charlemagne, you over here talking about, I get why somebody might want to stay on the sofa. No, B, no. Okay, because look, let's say that crazy evil clown asshole gets back in the White House. You say something wrong in the Breakfast Club, y'all gone.
Like, how about you give people a reason, scare the shit out of them, and give them a reason not to stay on the sofa? You have the platform to do that. You have the platform to do it.
Let's use fear, okay? What the Republicans do. Use fear. And it's not even, it's valid. It's 1000% valid.
I'll send you a list. I'll send you a list of the grievances most niggas have who kind of follow the news cycle against them. We did it on the show a couple episodes back. I'm willing to help.
So, moving on to, as you mentioned, McConnell. Lord Jesus. So, I don't know all the fuck shit he pulled before Obama came in office, but I do know once Obama came in office, he really turned up the crazy. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, as Antoine was noting, he pulled out some bullshit ass rule talking about we cannot consider putting a new person on the Supreme Court while we're in election year. It was the top of, what year was that? 2016, the top of 2016, right? So wouldn't even let Merrick Garland get started in the process. We didn't even get to have him sit and talk to people, like go through a hearing at all. Okay. He shut all that shit down. Then Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies. Body ain't even cold yet. Body ain't even in the ground. And he rams Amy Coney Barrett down our throats. So as Antoine said, also, another thing he did, he got a large number of conservative judges on federal benches, which is why you get some of these other crazy decisions coming out of some of these federal courts. He also did not vote to impeach Trump. And so you had 7 Republicans who did vote to convict, and you would have needed 9 more and have McConnell, who said, and I quote, "There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day." Okay?
I saw him say that. I saw that come out of his mouth. Yeah.
Right? Like, that was a clear statement from him. And yet, you didn't vote to convict. And so here we are. Because had you voted to convict, I know you could have got at least 9, maybe 10 other people, senators, to roll with you. Because they've been like, oh, leadership. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And had that happened, we might not be where we are right now. Because this motherfucker would have been impeached and out. Exhale, breathe. So going back to what you were saying, though, Antoine, about sitting him down, but it's again, hypocrisy doesn't even begin to describe it. Like,
I just want to hear his explanation for it, like, because he's a smart man, clearly strategic. I would just love it because it's gonna be a bullshit explanation, but I would just like, for the record, so that people who, for their own, for their own indulgence, if they want to understand this ridiculous period in American history, I want it on record. I want people to understand why the same grace wasn't given to the nigger president that was given to the billionaire president.
Because he had an agenda. And I don't know if he would just say that. He might, because he's 80, whatever. You know what I mean? He might just go ahead and say it because I wanted my judges on there and I could do it. He might just say it because I can.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's going to happen to him? Who's going to do anything to him?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You're like, I'm sorry, you're headed to hell. If y'all believe in that, and sometimes I do, although I also think hell is happening right now on Earth in present time. So,
well, and it's also funny that, the guy that went and wrote 400 pages on Biden being a simple old man with a bad memory. It's just funny. Yeah, again, you're saying that about Biden. Where's the commentary about Mitch McConnell? This motherfucker freezes up on camera. He can, I don't get it's so hypocritical. And not to mention Trump does the same thing, that he has the same gaffes. So, it's just funny how those things are interpreted differently when it's not the person that you dislike.
So Bilal said, doesn't matter. This is a comment from a couple minutes ago. It doesn't matter, Antoine, because no one in the military will follow any orders that are not constitutional. They might, depending on who he like. We can't put shit past them, okay? And again, everybody keeps thinking about, and when he was in office last time, during his administration, the guardrails were barely in place, right? The guardrails barely, but that is what saved us from going into complete chaos, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You had people who knew better, who stopped him, who checked his base crazy ass, Hitler ass fucking Putin, like wanting to be dictator shit. They stopped it. Those people won't be in place anymore. They figured it out. He's like, no. Project 2025, they're consolidating power in the executive branch. Like they've laid it out. They're telling us what they're going to do. So, and then also there was something else I wanted to say. And also talk about people who, like, let's say he'd be upset if they expanded the court. But again, like Tony says, SCOTUS and Congress need to have expanded for decades ago. With regard to expanding the court, because I remember this, but I'm glad I reread it today, forgot what year it was, 18 something probably. We got 9 justices because there was 9 federal circuits. Well, now we have 13 federal circuits. So
right,
there's an argument.
It wasn't a number that was picked out of a hat. There was a reason for it.
Yeah. So, wait, Antoine, I can't block a user. I'm sorry, I'm not blocking you, Sarah. I just figured out how to do it. So if a troll entered, I can't block them.
Oh, good.
Although we about to leave this platform as soon as possible, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I'm missing a couple different comments. I know it's a lot because we were just, doing the whole thing. But yeah, that's it. It was a power grab. So yeah. Dion said alleged billionaire president, Antoine.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's not clear yet who's going to take over from McConnell. And I do think the scuttlebutt is he's stepping down now from leadership so that he can play a role in who becomes the leadership for the Republican Party. Right. To try and not make sure it's a crazy person like what's taking place in the House.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. You helped create this mess. So, good luck. Good luck, player. Wait, sorry. I don't know. Sarah's making a mean face. I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right, moving on. But again, it's like in terms of like where we are right now with all the crazy is IVF. So, again, just to read what happened in Alabama, the state Supreme Court made a decision utilizing a law from 1872. Okay. Could black men vote? I know women couldn't vote. Like I forgot black men got 1872. I don't even know if doctors was washing their hands yet during surgery. Okay. Yeah. Let alone thinking about what can happen in terms of like pregnancy and kids and all that. Get out of here. The state Supreme Court in Alabama, using a law from 1872 and quoting the Bible, found frozen embryos to be children. That's where we are. So, of course, this now caused a bunch of chaos in Alabama with IVF, and they stopped doing procedures. People who had been like set up to get embryos transferred all hopped up on drugs. Everything is shut down. People couldn't get their embryos out of Alabama. A mess. So because Republicans are running scared, as they should be, there's been a state House bill and a Senate House bill that basically extends civil and criminal immunity to providers of IVF services, which is a way of protecting IVF services a roundabout way, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
But then with federal protection, Lord Jesus, sorry. So Democrat Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois requested to pass a bill by unanimous consent, meaning any one senator could block it, right? So this was the bill, that protects IVF. So Senator, I don't know where this lady's from, probably, I think Missouri, Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. So she's the one who shut it down. It only needed one senator to shut it down, this federal protection. So this is what she said. The bill before us today is a vast overreach that is full of poison pills. And I quote, it would legalize human cloning. It would legalize commercial surrogacy, including for young girls without parental involvement. No, it wouldn't. It would legalize gene-edited designer babies and lift the federal ban on the creation of 3-parent embryos. And this is the kicker. It would legalize the creation of human animal chimeras. That's how you say it?
It's chimeras.
Chimeras. I was like, yeah. I'm practicing this word. Wrong, all wrong, and more wrong. So Duckworth said the bill does 3 things and 3 things only. It protects the right of individuals to seek assisted reproductive technology without fear of being prosecuted for seeking that technology. It preserves the right of doctors to provide that assisted reproductive technology without fear of being prosecuted, and allows insurance companies to cover assisted reproductive technology. Where the fuck you getting the rest of this other shit from?
Yeah, I feel like if you say that that's why you're objecting and none of that is even on the table, that should be thrown out. Your objection should be thrown out because it's meritless. It holds none. It's almost like you said, you raised your hand and said, I object because, the Red Sea was parted and the sky is blue. And it's like, that's not what we're arguing here. Well, I still object and I have that power. You shouldn't be able to just say I object. You need to give a reason for it. And if the reason is invalid, your objection should be thrown out. This is getting ridiculous.
You know what? Callum, good point. He said, imagine if the working class had this kind of power. We would have a living wage, affordable housing, free childcare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, exactly. And is it fun to see how quickly they can move when they want to?
I think, too, like, this idea that you can create policy based on biblical scripture, that should be illegal. As soon as you say God, Bible, it should be like, dude, you're here to interpret the fucking Constitution. Period. If it's not in the Constitution, the Constitution has all kinds of shit in there that ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. The Bible says the Bible says thou shalt not kill, but the Constitution says we have the right to bear arms. Like, they are not the same thing.
No.
So anything, when they start bringing up the Bible, that person should be... This is crazy that they can do it on the record and say that this is why I'm judging something this way. It's based on biblical text. Like the fact that you could say that publicly and not be removed from whatever office or whatever it is you've been elected to.
Separation of church and state is supposed to be a thing. That's supposed to be a real thing for this country, right?
Yeah.
And again, just this abortion conversation as a whole, which I'm going to put IVF as a part of it, because your religion says it's not okay. That's fine. That's your religion. It's not mine.
Yeah. If it's yours, don't destroy your embryos. That's your right. You know what? You pay for that every month. But if I'm not a Christian, you should still have my best interest at heart, even if I don't believe the same thing that you do from a spiritual perspective. You're supposed to be interpreting the Constitution for all Americans, not just white Christian Americans.
And Antoine, keeping it super basic for people who don't have time to be fucking around with MSNBC and all this other stuff, this is a means of control.
Yeah.
Period. Right? So again, whoever out there just trying to live your life, freedom, right? You should want to be able to make decisions for yourself, not what some crazy Bible-toting lunatic thinks is what's best for you. That's easy to understand.
Yeah.
And again, I've said this on other shows. I'm gonna keep saying it until, please, dear God, let Biden win in November. There's no such thing as an abortion in the 9th month. That's not real. That does not happen. That's a lie. That's not a thing that happens.
Yeah. I've tried to, and people don't believe you when they tell, because the propaganda machine on the right is so much more effective than the one on the left. And that has to change.
They just lie.
Yeah, that just has to change because, I was talking to somebody who had an abortion and they were like, this thing they're doing like the 8th, 9th month. And I said, that doesn't happen. And I said, I gave the statistic. I think I think 95, like 92, 95% of abortions happen in the first trimester.
Yes.
So it's like, again, to use a Cat Williams analogy again, Cat's analogy, taking something small and using it as a way to manipulate the rest of the information as accurate or inaccurate. It can go in either direction. That's just the song of the day. Yeah. And that's what everybody's doing. It's like you take a couple bad things that probably happen with abortion and anything. There's going to be something bad that happens with everything that we do, no matter what medical procedure it is. You take them couple things and you say, get rid of all of it because these two things that you had heard happen are happening. And it's like, yeah, that's just not.
Also, this is the part where people saying, well, I had heard, did you talk to a doctor?
Right.
I'm just like, stop talking. Did you talk to a doctor, right? Because Roe v. Wade was viability is 23 or 24 weeks, okay? And again, I have friends who are obese. If anything has gone wrong post that time, post 23 or 24 weeks, they tried to deliver the baby. They tried to do that. If the baby can live outside the womb, they try and figure that out. You cannot roll in there at 30 weeks, 32 weeks talking about, I want an abortion. That will not happen. There is no doctor that will fucking do that.
I don't think there are people that do that. The idea, I don't think that there are even people who do that.
Antoine, let's allow for maybe. Maybe you crazy. Maybe you whatever you decide, oh, you know what? I don't carry this about 8 months. I can't do it. You gonna get a hanger or like fall down the stairs, but if you take your ass to a hospital, it ain't happening. It's not happening. Oh God, why y'all out
Because
here?
one would think even in a situation like that, at the very least, if someone would have walked in an abortion clinic and say, I done it for 8 months. I can't do that last month. You would think at the very least they would say, well, if you're threatening to harm yourself, we're going to induce labor and deliver the baby prematurely. That's better than what you're asking us to do. You would think that would, you know what I'm saying? If those people exist, there is something that can be done. It's just crazy. But these
and they have. I'm sure they've dealt with that. There is but again, these are decisions left up to doctors, health professionals, not old white men or young white men who are racist and crazy. It's not your call. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This is about control. Yeah. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. If you mess around and let that lunatic back in the White House, there will be a national abortion ban.
Yeah. I don't think, I think, if your religious beliefs inform your pregnancy, your perspective on abortion, things of that, even child rearing, I respect that. Yeah, the issue is how you want to have a pregnancy and have your kids and raise them, and your restrictions shouldn't have shit to do with me. They should have nothing to do with me. I don't have to have the same perspective on that as you. Even if you think mine is disgusting. These should be discussions between people and their doctors.
Thank you. And look, your reverend, your pastor, your bishop, right? Whatever. That's again your call to talk to and get a consultation from whoever you think you need to get a consult from. Yeah. Callum is correct. Blue state residency will not save your punk ass. Okay, it will not. I don't care. You have to leave the country. Okay, that's just what's gonna have to happen. Yeah. So, okay, Freaknik. Back when we was just kicking it, having good times. Just good times. Good times. The documentary is Freaknik, the Wildest Party Never Told. And we talked about this actually. The last time we talked about it, we were still taping because it's been a minute that it's been being talked about, but the trailer is finally official. We have a release date, March 21st, on I think Hulu. Is it Hulu?
It is Hulu. Yeah. It's Hulu. It's on it's Hulu.
Yeah. So what's funny is, like Lil Jon's in there, Too Short, Uncle Luke, Killer Mike, bunch of cats. 21 Savage. Everybody's like, why is 21 Savage talking? Like, sir, first of all, you were not here. And you're just now 30 or 31, something. So like,
I didn't even know. Okay. I didn't even know. Cause I was like, wasn't he in some British nigga's ball sack? Wasn't even delivered, thought of back then. When he was in somebody's ball sack eating scones when Freaknik was occurring.
Antoine, I was so confused when I saw it. I had to ask Terry. It's like, hey Siri, how old is 21 Savage? I was like, what is happening right now?
Fake accents posted in another nigga hood like a bad bitch. I swear Megan was talking about 21 Savage when she said fake accents. But she could have been talking about Drake too.
She was talking about Drake in that patois in whatever album it was.
But 21 Savage clearly has some form of a fake accent because that nigga did not come here as an infant. He is British. They tried to deport his ass. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that was odd when I saw him on there. I guess because it's so legendary, if you come up in Atlanta, I guess you go hear stories about it. I guess he put up some money for it. So
yes, Karen Scones.
And what bangers and mash?
Wait, what's the beans thing that they eat?
I'm sorry. Well, there's blood pudding. Ugh. There's blood pudding.
Okay,
sorry, Eggs Benedict.
Okay. So Freaknik, just in case for some reason you don't know, but everybody watching probably does know, it was an annual spring break event that happened in Atlanta. It started in 1983, and initially was started by students who were at HBCUs, and it was just like, hey, it's a small picnic in a public park, sponsored by the DC Metro Club, who could not afford to return home for spring break, which is interesting. It kept going as an annual event, held the third weekend in April. It obviously increased in size and popularity into the 90s, incorporating dance contests, concerts, parties, a basketball tournament, rap sessions, film festival, job fair. Okay. And then it took a turn. So Antoine, you said you went, and Dion, one of Dion's earlier comments is like, Antoine would not stop talking about Freaknik when you went.
Oh yeah, I went with Carla, Deidre, Trina, and Margaret.
Okay, that sounds like a rap song. It sounds like lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because like it's a traffic jam, so you can't. The freeway doesn't move. If you have a heart attack, you go die.
Oh Lord!
Because
Jesus.
the ambulance wouldn't be able to get to you on the freeway. You can literally be walking on. You can see somebody you like, go up to them and get their number. Can't nobody move their car.
Yeah.
And one of the girls, we had got slightly separated. I come back and I see this guy is humping my friend on the hood of a car. I walked over to her. I said, "We're leaving." Leaving. Yeah, it was out of control. Hotel rooms I had a cousin that had a hotel room, and it was a revolving door of it. Oof, it was wild. I mean, this is obviously pre-Me Too.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. But anywhere you went, we went to a park. I remember we had drinks in the park. We was just in the park drinking, and we was just talking to people. There was some positive aspects to it. It was fun, but it was dangerous. I think is particularly when I think of like groups of girls just a group of girls and everybody's drinking and smoking weed. Just imagine what could happen. There was, because they even mentioned this in the movie trailer. At one point, there was like, was it a bus or a van? Like, it was a girl on top of a car that was going by, and she was just basically naked.
Yeah.
And doing what we didn't call it twerking back then, but
that's what's in the
booty shaking, I think they called it.
That's what Too Short
But
said.
imagine this too. This was like when Atlanta was really starting to get musically, it was becoming the mecca that it is today. But this was the early stages when it was like TLC, Keith Sweat, Chris Cross, who else? LaFace was based out of Atlanta. And yeah, it was bubbling under. Outkast, it was bubbling under at that point. But yeah, we went to the Underground Mall, and my girls were in there shopping. I was broke. I ain't want to look at a bunch of shit I couldn't buy. So I came outside, and I walked up the top of the steps, and I stood right there just kind of looking just taking in the view, waiting for them. And so I turn around and then I see this crowd starts forming, and it's literally hundreds of people. It's a crowd of people, and they all start walking towards me at the top of the steps. And I remember at one point the crowd just kept growing, and I'm like, is this how these Atlanta niggas get down? They can smell Chicago on my ass. They finna just jump me or something. And before the crowd got up the steps, this lone figure was in front of them and walked past me, almost bumped into me. And it was Tupac.
Oh.
They were following Tupac out of the underground mall. That's why that crowd formed and was coming up towards the steps. He was getting away from all the people. Oh my God, he was tiny. Oh my God, he was tiny. I would have that nigga look 8 feet tall when you see him on TV.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, did I ever make it to a party with him? Not that I need to give y'all any more reasons to be like me fumbling a bag, okay? So let me just not.
I mean, Pac left it. Look, you didn't want to go to a party with Pac because the girl who accused him of rape, her story is that, you know, he left her in a room with a bunch of niggas, and you know.
No, God looks out for babies and fools, so you know.
Yeah.
So wait, when you went, were you still in college?
Oh yeah, it was like I graduated college in '96, so this would have been 94, 95. I think it made a bit because I think Tupac died not long after I saw him. So
he died fall of '97. I mean, not fall of '96.
Yeah, then it was 95 then when I saw him. I must have been in Freaknik Freaknik 95.
Yeah, and Biggie died March or April of '97. So
Oh, real quick before I forget, there's a video circulating. I don't know if it's on TikTok or what, but remember all the stuff we talked about last week with Puffy?
Yeah.
Or Diddy?
That was 2 shows ago.
I said last week. I meant last episode. So remember, and Crescent, you read all this. There is in the lawsuit, the Lil Rod
producer.
He says that Puffy basically said, I'm the one who shot up the club and Shine took the rap for me. So the young lady who was shot in the face, she's been making the rounds. She's like, I done told everybody that would listen that Puffy is the one that shot me in the face, not Shine.
I saw her video. She resurfaced in 2014, and she's like you said, back now. And she was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm talking. Was talking before, but I'm talking. Yeah, she said she's like Puffy shot me.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
Well, you know what? I realized I never knew who had. I thought it was only one person who got shot. I didn't realize it was 3 people who got shot.
Yeah,
and she got shot in the face.
Right.
And so and she got a judgment. I think they all got judgments, but hers it was like $1 million or so, a couple millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And she said she's been harassed ever since.
Like she got 7 flat tires in a month.
On like the same tire on her BMW, like the same tire.
Same tire.
Right? Like little shit, just like fucking with her, right? Like the way he had Kid Cudi's car like blown up, which Kid Cudi said, yeah, he did that.
Yeah.
That was a Cassie's lawsuit.
It's funny. Last week I had this passenger gets in my car and he started talking, and I said, where is your accent from? And he said, Belize. And I said, I know what Belize is. I said, I went to school with a girl whose parents were from Belize. And I said, most niggas here don't know where it's at on the map. And we just started talking. And I said, the only association that most niggas here have with Belize is Shine. He's like, I know his aunt. He's like, his father was a diplomat. I've had dinner with. I'm like, damn, it's a small world.
OMG. Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny because he kept saying with his accent, he said people would think he's Nigerian. And I looked at him, I'm like, my ancestry is from Nigeria. You don't look Nigerian.
That's hilarious.
And he's like, thank you. He's like, people don't never know. I said, well, it's because you're Afro-Latino. It confuses people.
People are ignorant. So there's that, you know what I'm saying? Just
at any rate, So y'all, these people giving information. We can choose to listen to it if we want to.
Callum said, and this is the one main comment that I keep seeing on all social media. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody be like, oh, so aunties, uncles, parents, y'all about to just be outed with this footage. Just be like, Mom, that's you? That's you?
And you know there are Freaknik. There have to be Freaknik babies out there where the mothers have no idea, not have any idea who the father is, but came back pregnant. How the fuck do you get in contact with the nigga after that? There's no way there are no Freaknik babies walking around.
Whew.
No way.
Okay.
It was a sex party.
Sure. By the way, Calvin said, Antoine, you graduated in 96. You look good. What's your skin regimen? Just
Thank
FYI.
you.
And then
I just don't scar easily. That's my superpower because I got bad. My skin was terrible.
Look, Black typically don't crack unless you're fucking evil. Okay, so if you just live, right, you just live right. Okay, drink some water every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't be a complete thorough asshole. You know, it might be all right. Also, Bilal, so he is, I think, broadcasting from your bedroom?
I'm in my bedroom. And yeah, those are not nooses. Those are, those are for
nooses. I thought you was going to say sex stuff.
No. This is because, look, so the reason I'm in my bedroom is I have a whole setup here with everything's attached and it's a table. So when we came back, this was in my living room, and I eventually got to a point where I'm just like, I need my fucking living room back.
Yeah.
So there's wheels on the bottom. So what I do is I roll it out of my. I had to make space in my bedroom to bring the table in here, and so when we tape, I'm supposed to push it back into the living room, but I ain't been feeling like doing that, so that's why we in my bedroom. But yeah, starting next week it'll be back in there, but. Those are actually there. That's a monstera plant in a. These are macrame hangers for plants.
Look
that's why they're there. What? BDSM paraphernalia, perhaps? No.
So I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's back there. I ain't gonna ask. I'm just.
I had an epic night last night though. Speaking of that,
sir.
Look, you know, sometimes, you know, when you put it down and you just walk different the next day.
I can't.
I was so pleased with myself.
Oh my God.
You know what? What I learned.
Oh Lord, help me.
No, did you say stirrups? Fuck you niggas. I will say this. I don't know. I'll be telling y'all my goddamn. So if you ever hit a hiccup with sex, maybe it could be your libido, or maybe like just it's boring or whatever. It's just, 3 things that are very important. I do cardio at the gym now. like you pass this shit on, right? I do cardio at the gym now. So cardio affects your stamina across the board.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just because if you out of shape, you'll be out of breath. You can't last as long. All these different things. But the other thing too is a lot of people don't like to talk about is you have to be very careful with pornography. Because if you watch too much pornography, it can affect your perception of sex. And what I mean by that is
Kanye.
Yeah, if you watch a bunch of pornography and then you have real sex, it can't compete with that. Like when you watch pornography, you can literally watch bits and pieces. Oh yeah, okay, that one, and you can, you know what? And then when the real thing is in front of you, it's just like, this is boring. I just did such and such, you know, blah blah blah. So yeah, that with let me see, the gym, watching your porn consumption. And you know, and being careful with self-love, the amount of self-love that you participate in.
Any green juice in the equation?
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, eating right is always, because if you they've done studies, if your cholesterol is higher, that increases your chances of developing erectile dysfunction. Because erectile dysfunction can be mental, but it can be physical too, meaning your blood flow is off. Because that's, you know, your penis becomes engorged with blood, and there are vessels and all kinds of shit associated with that. So keep your blood vessels clean, reduce your porn consumption, don't play with yourself as much, and exercise.
We have one more documentary to talk about, which is Reading Rainbow. which maybe we could talk about on Monday.
Oh my.
Oh God. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about reading Rainbow on Monday.
Okay. I will say too, I was looking at I watched an episode of it today.
I was singing the song.
Yeah, such a great show. And just I randomly picked one because they have a YouTube channel. Only 42,000 subscribers. That goes to show you niggas are not reading anymore. But I randomly picked an episode, and why was it the episode that they did right after 9/11?
Oh,
and they talked to these kids who were displaced because their school was in the perimeter. And these kids, this one girl, she must have been maybe 9 or 10. And LeVar Burton is like, so, how did you feel when it happened? Because we can see through the window now that you guys are back at your original school. You can see it through the window. And this girl goes, yeah, I was looking and I saw the debris falling. And I'm like, this girl know what debris was at 10. And then she said, I was just really stressed. I was really stressed. So fucking articulate. The kids were wonderful. They had Jeff,
Goldblum?
What's the, no, not Jeff Goldblum, Jeff Bridges.
Oh. Okay.
They had a story about, it was called The Tim Forest. And I had forgotten the format. So it switched to a book reading, and it shows the pictures. It tells you the author of the book and the artwork. And Jeff Bridges read the story. I forgot they have celebrities read the stories. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Butterfly in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I can go twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book. A reading rainbow.
They had a revised version of it when I watched. I like the original one from the 80s.
Yeah.
This one was obviously, if this was a 9/11 episode, it was a.
Why are these cats here talking about True Detective? Wow, what is you doing? He said, watch True Detective season 3, and then
is that the one with the women?
Jodie Foster is so good. Yeah, I think they're talking about the current one. Jodie Foster.
I heard it's excellent.
Jodie Foster season 4.
Oh, okay, that's the new one with the women. Okay.
We're not getting derailed. We wrapping ourselves up. So
yeah, because you're going out tonight, right?
I'm gonna try. I don't know how I feel right now. I'm all over the place.
So girl, go out.
I need to. I really do. Yeah. Coming up on Monday's show, possibly. So Reading Rainbow, we'll spend a little more time talking about it. Hunter Biden's "fuck all of y'all" testimony. It was awesome. So great. So great. Oprah and Weight Watchers are parting ways.
You think? You definitely should part ways if you out here on that nigga on the shots. You own the fucking shots out here looking snatched in the motherfucker. You was making fun of everybody else at first, Oprah. I love you.
Oh, Zempic.
But you know it. You was clowning niggas, and then you were like, well, I think my words were misrepresented after you got snatched. I ain't mad at you. You look good. You look amazing.
Hey.
I'm sorry, continue.
Sleepovers, yay or nay? There's this horrific story out of Oregon that we'll talk about, but it's an ongoing conversation about whether or not parents are letting their kids do sleepovers because shit could go really, really left. So
that's a shame. I had a slumber party once, and we used to have a lot of, because we got to stay up late and like watch Saturday Night Live and all kinds of shit that we weren't supposed to watch, and we'd be eating cereal at midnight. That shit was fun.
Yeah, no, if you can, Tony said, I need to go see if I can finally catch the bag. Okay.
Yeah. Go have you some drinks, girl. Because, I'm still, these niggas ain't working hard enough to get our new subscriber number up. So I'm sitting over here dry as fuck.
I'm going to work on it. Y'all need to be working on it too. But next week I'm putting in some work. But I've been drinking. But yeah, sure. And here's the thing, Antoine, I was actually trying to not drink. Like I didn't drink on, I think, Monday's show. Definitely Wednesday's show. And I was like, I'm trying to, today I was like, fuck it. I'm sorry. So
you should just plan. You should just plan on drinking on Friday shows.
Yes. No, I really should. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I saw one more comment before we... Oh, I thought I saw a lot of fun. Yeah, I was going to say, I saw it as an adult sleepover. That part. Okay, so yes, like us, like the show, please. And thank you for watching. Tell a friend, subscribe. We need to get these numbers up so Antoine can start drinking again.
Yeah, I smoked. I finally got to smoke some weed last night for the first time in 6 weeks. I've been doing really good. I don't have no choice but to. I gotta. At any rate, I'm ending the broadcast right now. But what you gotta say, Crescent?
Oh, last thing, them Trump sneakers. I've already caught some on sale.